Hey, everybody, this Thursday morning. I am out here this Thursday morning, trying to do a rant, thinking about, things in the country and where we're going and where we're heading, right? And you guys see the prompt. You see the prompt with Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan. And you know what was irritating about this whole interview? It wasn't that Sean Ryan or Megyn Kelly was disappointed, right? It was that they were disappointing. They were disappointing, right? Disappointing because they knew things ahead of time. And because a calculation was made by calculated people and their calculation was wrong. Wrong for the American people, but they figured, why not? I gotta make money, so let me do this grift thing. Also, what irritated me was listening to two people spend nearly an hour describing problems that a lot of Americans have been talking about for years, as if these problems suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The entire interview felt like two people slowly realizing that Washington is still Washington. They knew. Okay, they knew. And it felt like two people looking around the room and finally noticing the politicians still make promises they cannot keep. Powerful interests still have influence. Lobbyists still have access, and ordinary American citizens are still paying the price. And at one point, Sean Ryan says it feels like the new boss is the same as the old boss. The first thing that popped in my head was a simple question. What took you so long to figure it out? And then it finally dawned on me, Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan knew exactly who Donald Trump was. We have been saying this for years. People have been saying for years that campaign promises and governing are two completely different things. People have been saying for years that Washington has a way of absorbing anybody who walks into it. People have been saying for years that no matter who wins, ordinary Americans somehow end up with the bill. Now, all of a sudden, everybody is disappointed. All the people on the right, we don't know. We don't know what happened. Oh, we didn't know Trump was like that. Trump was like this in the first administration. We told y'all Trump was like this in the first administration. Y'all didn't want to believe us. We told y'all exactly who he was in the first administration. And Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan knew what he was. They knew that people would be struggling. They didn't know how bad it was going to get. That's the thing. Now Sean Ryan and Megyn Kelly are frustrated. This interview matters because you're hearing the disappointment from the grifters. We didn't know he was going to be this bad. We knew he was bad, but we didn't know he was going to be this bad. Y'all lying. Y'all lying.
Whoa. Total 180.
Yeah.
New war. Threatening pretty much everybody, including Americans. It's just like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah. No, it's incredibly disappointing. There's just no two ways about it. I just feel like Republicans in general are bummed out right now, whereas a year ago, 2 years ago, they were excited, they were optimistic, they felt hopeful, and now it's like, it's starting to feel like welcome to the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
See, that sentence explains the entire interview right there. That sentence explains why so many people are angry. People did not vote, donate their money, spend years of defending this bullshit, defending the status quo. Rather, they were driven by the promise of something very different. A lot of us knew wasn't going to be different, even including Megyn Kelly and Ryan, including those two. Don't let those two grifters fool you. They knew what time it was with Donald Trump. We were told that the corruption would finally be exposed. Washington would be challenged. The new era of transparency and accountability would be there. Believed that the powerful interests would lose their influence. Why do you think we fought so hard to make sure that we didn't get money into politics? When the Supreme Court made that decision about Donald Trump having immunity and the I forgot the name of the Supreme Court decision that let money get into politics. Well, business could be a person and donate to a campaign. When that got into politics, politics started going downhill. And all of this happened within the Trump era. So we knew, a lot of us knew, that this was not going to be a good thing. And so did these two people here. Okay? Nobody knew how bad it would be. We were told as American citizens that we would finally be fighting for something, cleaning the swamp. When people hear those promises over and over again, we naturally expect those kind of results. That is how expectations work. The problem is that the reality of Donald Trump showed up like 100-fold in this second term. We saw it. You know how you look into the distance and you see something coming? And you be like, is that what I see it is? Yes. When it got up close, Donald Trump got up close, the second term, we knew exactly what it was. We knew exactly. And so did Megyn Kelly, and so did this Ryan character. Okay? Political branding and campaign slogans eventually collided with the harsher truth. Reality showed up when a family spends money at the grocery store, more than they did 2 years ago. There's no way you can say this economy is better than Biden's. No way. Unless you just are trying to be goofy or on some other goofy-ish. Okay? The reality showed up when somebody tried to buy a home and realizes that's entirely out of reach. When insurance premiums are skyrocketing, retirement, who the fuck can retire? Who can retire? Ultimately, reality does not care about promises or carefully crafted imagery. It only cares about the results. This is where the frustration comes in. People are not comparing promises to promises. People are comparing promises to reality. Reality is winning. Every single freaking day, the gas prices are high, the food is high. The most fascinating thing about this conversation between Megyn Kelly and Ryan is how consistently disappointment comes up. Disappointment with spending, with transparency, with Washington and the politicians whose promises never seem to materialize. What's striking, though, however, is that the disappointment does not come in a vacuum at all. It only occurs when people actually believe in something in the first place. The MAGA people are the ones that believed in the first place. The other people just hoped. The people that are on the periphery, they just hoped. Okay? But these two right here, Megyn Kelly and this Ryan character, they drug y'all down that hole. They drug y'all down that hole, and they knew that this president was full of it. Because you can hear Megyn Kelly say, well, we saw some of it in the first term. We saw some of his corruption in the first term. And she's too smart to know that shit kept going. That she's too smart. She knew. This is why it's a grift for her. This is why it's a grift for her, because she saw it in the first term. She just wanted to make money. Okay. She just wanted to make money. The frustration we hear and the frustration we feel is a direct reflection of the trust that was invested yesterday with this president. The real people are frustrated today because they invested real hope in the idea that the things were finally going to go or change. People kept saying Donald Trump was going to drain the swamp. He is the swamp. He's the worst part of the swamp. He's the swamp that has the alligators and the snakes and the shit in it. He is a part of the swamp that has the bad things in it. And a lot of us saw that. See, we listened to the speeches, we followed the political coverage, donated money, defended politicians in conversation with friends and family, and we genuinely believed that the future was going to look different from the past. When somebody invests that much hope into a movement, a candidate, a man, or a set of promises, they naturally expect to see results. Same thing with Obama. People threw all their hopes and dreams and wants and desires on Obama. And Obama was just a man working within the system. Same thing with Donald Trump. Just a man working within the system. Except this was a corrupt human being at his core before he got into office. Let me say it again. He was a corrupt human being at the core before he got into office. That's why he was never in public office. Y'all wonder why at the age of 60, he was never in public office? He never ran for public. He loved the American people so much. I love y'all so much. But he never went into public office. If you wanted to help the American people so much, I love y'all. I want to help y'all. I want to do things for the poor man. Why wasn't he in public office before now? Why didn't he want to help y'all before now? That's crazy. Let me play you the second video about Thomas Massie. Hold on. Thomas Massie. And that whole debacle, I guess.
Those of us who are not in the military. So it's like, who are you speaking for? You know, it's not like something that has popular support within the group he represents.
So what does this all mean? I mean, I thought he was going to win. I thought for sure he was going to win. But then he didn't. And Israel bought it. They bought the election. So what do we even vote anymore? What's the fucking point? Legitimately, what's the point?
It's very hard for me to argue against your cynicism. I think a lot of us...
we have a duty to vote, but like, why?
Yeah, for what?
What? If they're just gonna,
I mean, ideally, a candidate will come along who will represent an antidote to the system. And I know that we thought Trump was that, but like, if you look back, there were a lot of signs that Trump was not going to be that. You know, the self-dealing that Trump's always done on economic matters, like finances, around his family business, should have telegraphed to us he was viable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think everyone is. You know, I do think like Thomas Massie wasn't. There are certain people who actually have deep principles and they stand by them and they couldn't be bought and paid for. Now, could they win a presidential election? That I don't know.
Y'all notice what she said, right? We had an idea. He was self-dealing in the first administration. He was doing things in the first administration that we should have looked at and said, Baba, see, we on the left looked at that and said, this dude is corrupt through and through. He ain't no damn swamp. He's the swamp that has all the alligators and the snakes in it. He is the swamp. He is the part of the swamp that has the alligators and the snakes in it. But this is where that conversation became uncomfortable, right? Thomas Massie did not create these expectations. Thomas Massie did not invent these promises. Thomas Massie was talking about things people were already told would happen. That is what makes this section of this video so important. When supporters began asking questions about promises that were already made, the conversation changed completely. Now, we're not talking about Democrats versus Republicans. We're not talking about left versus right. Now we're talking about whether the results match the promises. That is very different conversation. The reason people become uncomfortable when somebody starts talking about these questions is because questions force people to compare their rhetoric to reality. Rhetoric is easy. Reality is hard. Anybody can make promises. Anybody can give a speech. While anybody can tell voters what they want to hear, the true difficulty lies in producing tangible results that actually improve people's lives. And Megyn Kelly knew before Donald Trump even ran that he was in a corrupt position. These promises is the ultimate standard that ordinary Americans care about, stripped of political rhetoric and grandstanding. At the end of the day, our concerns are fundamental and deeply personal. I get that. We care about whether we can afford to buy a home, manage the rising costs of gas and food and health care, and secure stability for the family someday. More than anything, we care about the legacy we leave behind, right? Whether our children will have a better future, more prosperous life than they did. That baseline economic security and hope for the future is what truly matters. Everything else is secondary. And so as I listened to this interview, I kept thinking about how disconnected Washington feels about the ordinary lives of regular people. How disconnected they are. The average American is not spending all day debating politics, not talking about, freaking Massie, Obama. No, your average American is trying to keep afloat. We trying to afford a house. We trying to buy a car. We trying to pay the bills. Okay. I was scared to look at my electric bill yesterday. I was scared to look at it because I was like, oh man, if that electric bill is like $300, oh Lord. The reality is what makes the next clip that I play important. Hold on, let me play this one. Let me play you this one. Here we go.
Our kids are gonna be stuck with this. And now look at the state of the Middle East now. Look what's happening in the street. You know, it's like I go by the people around me. First of all, like my friend and hairstylist Sarah, who I love. She's like, I am sick of talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Because she's a normal person. She is worried. She's like, I have a good job. I make decent money, and I can't get a house. And it cost me $150 to fill up my car yesterday. Like, that's what a normal person sounds like. But what's happening in the Strait is causing some of those problems that she's having. And because of Trump now, we are forced to think about the Strait of Hormuz, which is in worse shape now than ever, because there's no way we're emerging from this without Iran somewhat in charge of it.
Yes.
There's no way.
Right.
I'm scared to death that the U.S. dollar is going to be thrown off the world reserve currency. I don't even really know what that looks like if it does, but it's not going to be good. And that's what seems to be happening from my perspective. I mean, they're hitting all the infrastructure of our allies that reinvest all that oil back into Wall Street. I think it's UAE already said was it UAE? They already came out and said when we run out of US dollars, we're going to the UN.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That sounds crazy, don't it? That's one of the most revealing things of this interview. People don't reach this level of frustration overnight. We don't reach the level of frustration after years of feeling like lives are not improving no matter who wins. Okay, so we get to this level of frustration after hearing promises every election while watching our circumstances get worse. Nobody is really listening. That's the dangerous part. Not because people are becoming extremists. That's not it. It's dangerous because people are becoming exhausted with this. Exhaustion is harder to fix than anger. Angry people are still engaged with this whole thing. When we become frustrated, start to question whether the participation matters like they said, what's the point of us voting if Israel bought the election? What's the point? Because it seems like somebody's buying the election. That's why we never wanted money in politics. That's why we never wanted that decision that the Supreme Court made regarding the money in politics. A company is a person. A company is an entity. A company can vote. A company can donate money, and when that money started coming into the system, people learned to take advantage of it, including this administration. Okay? Most people stop believing in participating in this whole system. And when they got engaged this election, when people got engaged in this election, people who had never gotten engaged before. Oh, we're gonna vote for Kamala, we're gonna vote for Trump, we're gonna vote. And then they get screwed over. Because that's what happened. The American people got screwed over. This administration screwed people over. You got betrayed. Now we see the cracks. Most people see the cracks. Most people see the grifting. Now we get to the real issue, the issue underneath every political argument, every campaign, every speech. People want to know whether their lives are going to get better. That's the question, not whether somebody won a debate, won an election, scored points in the media, got embarrassed because of their opponent on TV. People want to know whether their lives are going to get better. That brings us to this final clip. This is my final clip with Megyn and Sean. Okay? Two grifters extraordinaire, who I believe are grifters. I haven't seen Sean Kelly's podcast, but he seems like he's a smart cookie, and a smart cookie would pick up on bullshit real quick. And I know Megyn Kelly is because she has that persona, that lying persona, that slick ass persona she thought that Obama had. She's got that slick ass persona. That's how I know she's a grifter, because she knew from jump, from her conversation, from what she talked about, from all these interviews after Donald Trump did what he did with the war and blah, blah, blah. I know she's a grifter. I know that she understands what happened, and she knew what was going to happen. She just knew she could make money from it. But here's the final clip.
And the Democrats said, this is just recently, it's only going to take $30 billion. But we need to do this for an already suffering public. And look, Sean, the truth is, even though I hate Obamacare and worked very hard to stop it from passing back in the 08 to 10 timeframe, these Americans, it's not their fault. They didn't want it. It was shoved down their throat by Obama. They're suffering. They can't afford it. They can't afford groceries. They can't afford gas prices. They can't afford home.
Wait a minute. Listen to what she's saying. She's saying, oh, we need that Obamacare. That's what she's saying. We need the Obamacare now. We need that. After being a big advocate not to get Obamacare, now she's advocating for Obamacare? That's wild. That's wild. Y'all should see it a mile away. See her coming a mile away.
Homes, they can't afford health care, and we're giving $16.2 billion to Israel for just one of those line items. Never mind what we spent on this Israel's war against Iran, which no one wants. No one. The poll numbers on that are over 70% against. And we're not going to help our own people. Those Obamacare subsidized consumers are going to suffer.
She is making an argument. She is making an argument for Obamacare. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense that she, Megyn Kelly, who was a dead set against anything to do with Obamacare, she is making an argument that we need to do stuff for Americans. Y'all need to give us that ACA back.
Enraging. And the Democrats said, this is just recently, it's only going to take $30 billion. But we need to do this for an already suffering public. And look, Sean, the truth is, even though I hate Obamacare and worked very hard to stop it from passing back in the 08 to 10 timeframe, these Americans, it's not their fault. They didn't want it. It was shoved down their throat by Obama. They're suffering. They can't afford it. They can't afford groceries. They can't afford gas prices. They can't afford homes. They can't afford health care. And we're giving $16.2 billion to Israel for just one of those line items. Never mind what we spent on this Israel's war against Iran, which no one wants. No one. The poll numbers on that are over 70% against. And we're not going to help our own people. Those Obamacare subsidized consumers are going to suffer because we have other priorities. It's enraging.
It's enraging. This is where all this come together. The average American is working harder than ever and still feels like they're falling behind. Can't afford health care, can't afford housing, can't put your kid in daycare, can't afford to pay for any extracurricular activities. This is what people are reacting to now. People are reacting to the shrinking opportunities that we have in this country because of the decisions that Donald Trump made. And Megyn Kelly knows and understands that and knew that from the beginning, her and Sean Ryan. They knew that. They knew what this president was. People are reacting to the feeling that the rules keep changing. That frustration has been building for years, though. It did not start with Donald Trump. It didn't start with one party. Didn't start with one election. It's been building after every cycle. Okay? That is why this interview matters. It's not but because Sean Ryan is disappointed. Who gives a fuck whether you're disappointed? You probably make $100,000 every time you do a video. Megyn Kelly, you probably make $200,000 every time you do a video. You ain't suffering like we are. The disappointment spread to the regular, ordinary people. More and more people are comparing promises to results, promises to speech versus reality. More and more people are deciding the results matter more than the slogans do. And once people start measuring political movements by results instead of promises, the conversation is going to change because eventually people are going to stop listening to what politicians say. And we have gotten to that point. Eventually people stop listening to what media personalities are saying. Y'all have to remember, all of those personalities on the right, all of those persons on the right sold y'all a bill of goods. Okay? So they know they lied. They know they lied to y'all. Okay? They know they lied to y'all. And that's the problem I have with these people. Okay? For millions of Americans, it just keeps getting worse and worse under this Donald Trump. The rules keep changing. Exactly. The rules keep changing for everyone. Now we don't even know. We don't even know what to believe, who to believe, when to believe, how to believe. Okay? The difference is between us and Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan is that they knew prior because they knew from his behavior. They go to those parties. They go to Washington celebrations, birthdays, holidays. They knew all of this, but they let you all go down the path of this goofy shit without warning y'all that this was what was coming. Because they have money. These people have money. They have money, power, influence. They don't care. They're not suffering from the gas prices. They're not suffering like Megyn Kelly said, her friend, who's a hairdresser. She's suffering. Can't afford a house, can't afford a car, can't afford food, can't afford groceries, can't afford gas. They ain't suffering, but they knew. And this is what I didn't like about this interview. You pretended like you didn't know. You pretended like this was brand new to you. I didn't know Trump was going to go so far. You knew he was grifting. You knew he was stealing from the American people the first term. You knew that. He tried to sue us, his people, for $10 billion. If that don't tell you that he was trying to get money from, and he's been getting money from the United States, from the people, from our coffers, making us poor and poor and poor, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. And the Republicans are complicit. And Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan and Hulk Hogan, not Hulk Hogan, But Rogan and all them goofy people on the right know that they knew what was going on with this president. I don't know what question you have. If you like my commentary, please put a like, share, and subscribe in the comment section. Hit the like and the share and the subscribe button. I do content like this every day. I just happened to be so pissed off when I saw this interview with Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan, pretending to be surprised and shocked about what was going on when they knew from the beginning. Because you can listen to this interview. Go back and listen to this interview with Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan and listen to what Megyn Kelly says. She says, oh, we saw the grifting in the first term. We saw Donald Trump was a part of the swamp in the first term. We saw all of that. We just thought he was going to be different. We saw it, but we thought he was going to be different. And you immediately, as soon as he got into office, you knew he wasn't going to be different. You knew it. And yet and still you went along with the grift. You went along with the lies. You went along with the money scamming that this president has done to the American people. No president in history has tried to sue their own people for money. No president. No president. No president. I'm not even going to say no more. All of this should be obvious to people. All of this should be obvious. And it's only a certain subset that it's not obvious to. And I think they're either mentally ill or they're sociopathic, psychopathic. Because nobody could see this destruction coming on our country and say, oh, yeah, I want that destruction. I want us to go to war. I want us to do it. I want all of that. Only person that's psychopathic or mentally ill would believe that they want this to happen to their country. And only those people would not want us to turn back around, which we need to turn back around. Okay. Yes, Megyn Kelly is all about the money. Her and Sean Ryan, they make plenty of money every month. They're not worrying about any of these things. That's why it doesn't bother them to lie to you. It doesn't bother them to lie to the American people. So hit the like, share, and subscribe. I have content like this every day. I just had to. I had to say something. Because the smugness of this woman, knowing that she's lying to her audience, knowing she's lying to the American people about what this president has done to this country. I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be so bad. I didn't know. Yes, you did. Money corrupts. Money corrupts. Power corrupts. It's just a matter of how much it can corrupt. It's only a matter of how much. And she knows that this administration is way out there. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I will be back tonight with more content at 10 p.m. I appreciate you showing up this morning. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.